Our game of the week has to be San Francisco 49ers traveling to New Orleans to take on the Saints. Storm, who do you like in this game? How do you expect it to unfold?
Yeah, I mean, this is huge home field throughout the playoff implications.
Implications.
Yeah,
we make up words here in the practice squad.
Yeah, as you can tell, I'm getting a little tired. Huge home field implications. Saints are probably, Saints already having a home field for this game is pretty nice. San Fran coming off a loss. Man, now you look at their schedule. At Baltimore, at New Orleans, that's rough. I don't think they win this game either. I have a funny feeling the Saints are going to take it to them a little bit. I think that secondary is finally going to be put to a bigger test. I mean, Michael Thomas, obviously the best wide receiver in the game right now. And then, Drew Brees, hopefully just being Drew Brees, it seems like that injury that we were talking about is kind of helping him a little bit the second half of the season.
Still got a little bit more juice coming into the year.
Still got it going. But I think New Orleans winds up bouncing out with a W.
Yeah, this game, like you said, is absolutely massive. Like, it's wild to think San Francisco had been holding on to the number 1 seed in the NFC basically all year. And with that loss to Baltimore, they dropped to the number 5 seed because Seattle's got the tiebreaker with them right now.
Yeah,
so Seattle's leading that division right there.
Wow.
So this really is a huge game for San Francisco in particular, who really is just trying to win the division. I lean towards San Fran this week. I know it is in New Orleans. Huge advantage there for the Saints, but I just think San Francisco matches up pretty well against them. The key for New Orleans is going to be getting Alvin Kamara involved, because if the Saints get into a situation where they have to pass the ball, I believe San Francisco and Salas and that defense is going to be able to scheme up something to lock down Michael Thomas. We saw last week he only had 6 catches, 60-some yards in their win, so it's been shown that he can be contained. And if you can contain Michael Thomas, they don't have much else in ways of pass catchers. Obviously, Jared Cook is decent. Ted Ginn is decent, but nobody that really scares you.
Kamara out of the backfield, I guess. But
yeah, so I think that San Francisco defense is going to kind of shock that New Orleans offense a little bit. I think San Fran's going to be able to run the ball pretty effectively, not put a ton on the shoulders of Jimmy Garoppolo, try and slow down the game a little bit. I see San Fran pulling out a narrow win this week.
Yeah, this is an absolute huge test for San Fran, coming off that loss to Baltimore.
And I also think it's a really good test for New Orleans because although they have shown glimpses of being really explosive on offense, they really haven't done it against a defense even close to the caliber of the 49ers yet.
For sure. Yeah, I definitely agree.
There's a reason why it's our game of the week. Another game that probably would have been the game of the week had we not had two lost teams facing off is when Kansas City Chiefs go up to Foxborough to take on Tom Brady and the Patriots. Another huge game for at least one of these teams, for the Pats, who, like you said, have the Bills on their heels, are trying to fight to get to keep having that first weekend of the playoffs off before they play in the divisional round at home. So what do you think is going to happen here? Do you think the Chiefs can go into Foxborough and get the W?
Well, like I said in my betting segment, you look at Kansas City +3 and you're like, you almost have to kind of take it just because New England's offense really hasn't scored. I mean, they just haven't looked good. That Kansas City offense, again, it was against Oakland. We discussed this, but they still are starting to click a little more. The playmakers are starting to get more involved. I think Patrick Mahomes, off that ankle injury or knee injury, is looking a little more healthy than what he was the last couple of weeks. But how do you pick against New England at home, coming off a loss? I don't know. But I feel like Kansas City goes in there and wins.
Yeah, I agree with you. I think this game actually has a chance to get ugly here, unless New England can show that Sony Michel still has some of last year in him. If they're not able to run the ball against this Kansas City team, which is very possible. Kansas City has shown this season that you can run on them.
Yep.
But yeah, I just feel like Pat Mahomes is going to come in and be hot early. I know that New England's secondary is great, but the weapons that this guy has, from Tyreek Hill to Travis Kelce to Mecole Hardman to Marcus Robinson, coming out of the backfield, you got Shady McCoy and Damian Williams, who has shown glimpses this year. I just don't see how New England's offense can keep up with that Kansas City offense. I'm taking the Chiefs here.
Yeah, I mean, I know that New England defense is really good, but what we said, New England has the potential to go out 3 and out, snap of a finger, and put that defense right back on the field, and that's going to tire them out. And they probably got tired out last week, a couple weeks before that against Baltimore. I mean, they're going to start wearing down here soon because that offense isn't moving the ball.
I agree. I agree. Game number 3 between that team that is now the number 1 seed in the NFC West, the Seattle Seahawks, who go face the Rams in Los Angeles. Rams obviously coming off that big win in Arizona, but now they face a Seattle team that is much, much stronger. Who do you think takes this one, bud?
You can't even put like home field advantage with the Rams because they've given up
it's such a shame.
40 points a game or whatever their average.
They've been bad at home lately,
it's so
man.
bad.
Real bad.
You have the MVP candidate Russell Wilson coming into town. I don't know. I don't know how you pick against them right now. They are just piping hot. They finally looked like they got Chris Carson a little more involved last week. He finally got back to that 100-yard mark, a touchdown and stuff. I don't think it'll be a blowout or anything. I think it'll be just as good as a game as it was earlier in the season when your boy missed a game-winning field goal or game-tying field goal, whatever it was.
Uh-huh.
That was against them or was that San Fran?
It was against Seattle, yeah.
So I think it's going to be another close one like that, but I still think Seattle finds a way to get it done.
Yeah, this was a tough game for me to pick because I really was, and I'm still considering going with LA. I really was because I did say I don't think they're going to make the playoffs, but they always play Seattle tough, and I do think talent-wise they're probably a better football team than Seattle. They just haven't executed well, and they've shown key weaknesses in areas that Seattle's been able to overcome a lack of talent. Really what it comes down to is the quarterback. I trust Russell Wilson more than Jared Goff. I know Jared Goff had like 300 yards and change in the first half last week, but
against Arizona.
Yeah, and I know Seattle's defense is not fantastic, but they seem to do just enough now. I will say I don't know the health status of Jadeveon Clowney. If he does not play, I think I may still lean the Rams here because if Jared Goff has time, if Todd Gurley is able to get a rhythm running the ball, I think the Rams can still be a dangerous team. But if Clowney plays and can cause some havoc up there at the point of attack at the offensive and defensive line, I think that the Rams could be in for some trouble. So I'll have to keep an eye on that before I put my picks in tomorrow. Anyway, the last game, and this to me is a really interesting game, has the potential to kind of be a trap game for Baltimore, in my opinion. They got to go play the Bills up in cold Buffalo, New York. Do you think that the Ravens are going to continue to roll, or are the Bills going to slow them down?
It's pretty interesting because you look at you want to say no defense has really played a team like Baltimore, but kind of when you look at Josh Allen's no Lamar Jackson, all right, but he's able to make plays on his feet. He's able to throw the ball on the run, similar to Lamar. Lamar's just more electric, right? Clearly, I kind of feel like you're right. I think you hit it. I think this could be a potential trap game for Baltimore. I think the Bills are riding a little high themselves. I think that defense is pretty good. I think when you put White on Hollywood Brown and you let that D-line and the rest of the team go to work, I think there's a chance. I don't know who I'm going to pick yet, but I don't think it's going to be a blowout. I think it's going to be another close game.
Yeah, I don't think it's going to be a blowout either. I think this Buffalo defense is legit. They're here to stay. But I do still see the Ravens pulling this out. It's interesting because that Buffalo offense is kind of like Baltimore light, where Baltimore, obviously they're both run-heavy teams with a mobile quarterback that can do enough through the air. But with Buffalo, it's really traditional. They throw in, obviously, a little bit of that RPO, but it's more like straight down your throat. Like I said, less flashy. The quarterback is not as electric or fun to watch. But they both play very similar styles of football, and I think the discipline of the Buffalo Bills is what is going to keep them in this game. On the defensive side, Lamar Jackson by the end of the game may have great stats, but they're going to really make him earn it. And I think Buffalo's offense will be able to do enough. They're going to try and play it slow to keep Lamar Jackson off the field. And if they can run the ball a little bit on Baltimore, you never know. And I know Baltimore's got Hollywood Brown to make some big plays. You got Smokey Brown in Buffalo who can make some plays
John
as
Brown.
well.
Cole Beasley.
Yeah, and Cole Beasley, who's been looking good the past couple
right,
games.
Yep.
So I am still going to go with the Ravens, but I wouldn't be surprised if Buffalo found a way to pull off the upset.
Yeah, I think got it. Stick as Ravens, but there's the potential for the Bills to upset.